morning, kids! Did you miss me? I'm back. It is Monday, September 18th, I think. Yeah, I think. And we are heading out on Interstate 88 West. We're kind of in the North Aurora area. And we are heading out with a loaded trailer that we hooked onto at the yard to start our Monday. And we're taking that out to Eau Claire, Wisconsin, to the Menards DC out there. So I'm perfectly okay with that. I love the drive up to Eau Claire. It's beautiful. And you know I love the state of Wisconsin, so that's a perfect Monday for me. And so I was just thinking that I've now been at MNS1 Express Inc. Going on 3 months and some spare change. Actually, about 3.5 months almost. Man, time flies. It seems like I just started last week, but no, it's been a little over 3 months. So I thought maybe I would do a 3-month review of MNS1 Express and just kind of share my experience, my thoughts, my opinions. And yeah, pretty simple. And to start with, I have to say, spoiler alert, I love the company. I really do. And it has been an overwhelmingly positive experience so far. I have to say, even starting with recruiting, I worked with 2 different recruiters. Both of them were wonderful. I started with one and had to work with another as well, and process was very quick, very painless, very easy. They had everything nailed. I mean, they really very efficient, and did all of the checks and stuff they always need to do, and screenings and all of that stuff, and drug test and all that good stuff. And I was scheduled for orientation very quickly, and the orientation was also great. It was 1 day of orientation that was kind of, you know, in a conference room kind of a deal, as all of them are. And that was great. It was very informative, and it didn't drag. It didn't, you know, some orientations, as any driver will tell you, especially a driver that's been to more than one of them. Me, yeah, they can be like so mind-numbingly, horribly awful, boring, monotonous. I mean, it's like borderline torture almost. So I've been to some pretty horrendous, poorly run orientations, and this one was very good. The lady who gave the orientations, very upbeat, very energetic, kept the whole process moving. Folks from different parts of the company came in and introduced themselves and explained kind of their neck of the woods as far as what they do, and you know how it relates to us and all that good stuff. And so that was 1 day, and then the following day was a road test, and then truck assignment. And road test was great. The man who takes care of that, he's fantastic, and he takes care of all the stuff in the yard and all the trailers, and just a really good guy, and always very helpful, always very nice. And so that was great. Truck assignment, smooth. I was given a beautiful truck. It's a 2021 Cascadia. It's very nicely equipped. It's in beautiful condition. It's 300 and some odd thousand miles. You know, so I can't complain. Is it brand new? No. But it doesn't need to be. I mean, it was immaculately clean, and it's been very well kept. I've driven it now for, like I say, a little over 3 months, and I'm driving it hard. You know, I mean, I'm not hard or abusive on a truck, but I mean, I'm doing miles, I mean, I'm running this thing, and it's been flawless. So it's been a wonderful truck so far. So that was also, A plus. Hey, got really nice equipment. They got nice trailers. Some of the trailers are aging a little bit, which is to be expected. But even the oldest trailers, that are quote unquote the most beat up or what have you, they're still serviced well. They still operate well. Everything works. I've yet to grab a trailer that was a piece of junk that needs to be put to rest. So they've all been serviceable trailers. They've been in great shape. Had a minor issue here or there, but that's to be expected. I had one where the curbside mid-trailer turn signal lamp was just completely missing from the trailer, and that is absolutely something that it could happen in at a customer yard for sure. My guess is it probably did, because I mean, where else would that trailer? I mean, the light was just gone, as if like somebody just took it, needed a replacement, and decided to help themselves. So there was no damage. It didn't look like it was rubbed up against anything. So I think somebody just kind of needed one and took it. So there was that, and then there was another time where the trailer lights on the curbside, the rear trailer lights were completely out, and that ended up being the socket that plugs all of that wiring harness back there, to the main line that's going to it. There's a harness connection, and that connection came undone. And that's just simply from the trailer being bounced around all over the horrible roads that we sometimes have to travel over. So, again, that's something that can happen. I mean, it's, stuff like that, that's kind of like light bulbs. You have no idea when they're going to burn out, right? So it's the same thing. So that's by no means the fault of the company. I took care of both of those issues right away, and it was very much appreciated by the folks in the office. That I didn't just blow it off, and they took care of me for the time. So they've been very, very good to deal with on every level. And if I ever need anything, one phone call and it's done. Part of their marketing is they call themselves a driver first culture, and I can tell you that is true. It's not bullshit. It's not just a marketing line. It's not just a we treat you like family bullshit that you hear from all these other companies. They don't go and tell you we treat you like family, but they do say we're a driver-focused company, and they are. They truly are. And I think this is the first and only trucking company that I've worked for that it's evident in every interaction that I've had with the company. They've been fantastic. It's all about the driver and getting the loads where they need to be, taking care of the customer, but not at the expense of the driver. And that's a really, really welcome thing. And from my experience, a pretty rare thing. So I'm hoping that continues. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. The owner of the company is very much behind that. He's the driving force with that whole philosophy, and I think it's a fantastic one, and I think that's one of the reasons why he has a lot of very loyal drivers driving for him, because he has the company set up to take care of them, and that's as it should be, in my opinion, because a trucking company is basically what is it? It's the drivers that are driving those trucks, right? So that's not all it is. Obviously, everybody in the company has a role, and it's all important, but you get what I'm saying. You know, I mean, one of the most key things is who's driving your trucks. And so he obviously gets that, and the company is managed that way, and it's really great. The dispatch crew for the company, they are all located in Lithuania, which is really kind of interesting. Now, it was, when I was with GP Transco, that was also the case. They had all of their dispatch crew in Lithuania. And I have to say, even when I was with GP Transco, they were very sharp. They were very smart. They knew the American roads. They knew, they knew the job very well. But I do notice that with this company, their crew over there, it's a very different kind of like a vibe that you get from those folks. Now, actually, I can honestly say the pleasure of dealing with several of the folks over there, and every single person that I've dealt with in the Lithuanian office has been an absolute consummate professional. They are all extremely sharp. They know their business. They know what they're doing. They clearly understand their customer base, and they are really, really good at engineering their routes and planning their routes. And it's fantastic. I mean, the end result for the driver is we have zero downtime. There has not been one occasion, not a single occasion, where in the last 3+ months where I have had to wait for a load assignment. Not a single time. Usually I know the next day, I know the current day and the next day's plan, almost always. And oftentimes I know the plan for the next 3, 4, even 4 days, even my entire 5-day work week sometimes. I know exactly what the plan is. Now, that's not to say that plan might change during the course of the week, but that's trucking, right? If a load cancels, it happened to me last week. There was I think on my Wednesday or something like that, a load I was planned for already on Monday ended up canceling. But dispatch scrambled and had a new plan all put together before I had the load that I was attached to even delivered. So the folks over there are tremendously good at what they do. They're extremely friendly, they're extremely knowledgeable, they're extremely professional, and they're good at communicating. They not only send everything through the tablets that we operate through, they also send an email to make sure everything, or not an email, a text message with just kind of like the bullet points, the necessary key bits of information that we need, like pickup numbers and a destination and all that good stuff, the trailer number, whatever. Very concise messages, very much to the point, not a lot of fluff in there, which is very much appreciated, because we need to access the info that we need quickly, right? So I can't say enough about those folks. They've all been great, and I think that is the reason actually why we as drivers are able to do the miles we do, is that they are super, super efficient and exceptionally good at planning. I also love the fact that the biggest customer that we deal with is Menards. If you couldn't tell from all the videos, we have a really strong relationship with Menards as a company, and we do a lot of business for them. And they're not the only customers that we have, of course, but they are absolutely the biggest. And we, the highest volume of our loads are from Menards. And that, to me, is a major plus, because that is one company that has been an absolute pleasure to deal with at every turn. Their stores are exceptional as far as offloading trailers. They get you in and out of there usually within about a half hour, maybe an hour at the most, to offload an entire trailer. The DCs are fantastic. All the people that work at those DCs have been great, super friendly, very much on point. They know what they're doing. The processes that Menards has at their DCs couldn't be simpler. They're very efficient, and they make it really easy for drivers. We do a lot of drop-in hooks, and that's another major bonus. It keeps us on the road, and it keeps our wheels turning instead of constantly loading and offloading and loading and offloading, because every driver knows every time you have to do that, that eats away at your clock. And if you're sitting on a dock, you're not turning your wheels, and you're not making money, right? So our DC visits are in and out. They're very quick. And the other bonus is that almost all of the Menards locations that I've been to, if you're in a jam on your clock, you can stay there overnight, which is a huge bonus, so that you never have to worry too much about parking. You always have that option that you can stay even at their stores, at least so far for me. I'm sure there are some where you can't do that because of sometimes municipal laws, local laws of the town, whatever, prohibit that, and their hands are tied. But usually, if all of those stores are owned by Menards, the land is owned by Menards, and DCs are certainly the property of Menards, and in those circumstances we can definitely park there. So that's been terrific. So I have to say, again, 3.5 months in, the company's been absolutely wonderful. The pay is really strong. It's not the highest pay out there in the marketplace, but it's definitely on the high side. It is well above average. So it's really good money because you're constantly and consistently doing miles. The company has a target for drivers, and that they want every single one of their trucks that runs over the road, they want it to run 2,500 miles a week. That's the target. So they want it 2,500 miles or more, if it's possible, per week, which is totally understandable because the trucks need to make money, right? They cost a fortune, they need to run. And so far, that has been a realistic number, because, of course, as a driver, you know that when a company starts saying, "Oh, we want you to run, X amount of miles per week," the next thought you have in your brain, if you've been in it a while, is that, yeah, okay, great, sounds wonderful, but how are you going to dispatch me? Because if they're dispatching you to loads and live offloads that take 4 hours a pop, and constantly routing you through shit traffic, and from one location to another that has to go through twisty mountains and stuff, you get the point, right? A lot of that, I would say the majority of that, is out of the driver's control, unless the driver's totally slacking off and taking breaks every 5 minutes and eating out for lunch and breakfast and dinner, and you know what I mean, right? So anybody who's actually driving and really trying to utilize their clock, you can only do so much, right? There's a zillion variables that can work against you. So, and this company knows that, right? So if you don't hit that 2,500, it's not like they're going to fire you on the spot. They know what you've been driving through. They've been, they keep an eye on their trucks, and they know what's going on, and they know that if this, that, or the other was happening, or if there was bad weather, or whatever, construction, whatever, they know all of this stuff. So if you come up on a week and you've done only 2,300 or something, okay, that's fine. Next week, let's we'll all as a team try to hit it, right? And that's really the point. It's very much kind of a team a team slant here. It's not just the driver twisting in the wind on their own, because the people in Lithuania really do stay in very close tabs. My dispatcher knows exactly what's going on all the time. They watch where the truck is and what your progress is and all of that stuff, and as it should be, right? So, Big Brother is always there, and not in a bad way. I don't mean that as in Big Brother as in, the government looking at you and spying on you and all that kind of stuff. I mean it in, that you actually have somebody there that is watching out for your interests and making sure everything is good, right? So yeah, it's been great. And I will say that anybody that might be interested in coming here, the one thing that I will tell you is that you need to be a professional. Otherwise, they've got no time for you. You have to have a minimum of 2 years of driving experience. They do not make exceptions. And that is, I'm sure, an insurance company mandate. But whether it is or isn't, it's really not my business. But that would be my guess, that because insurance companies are usually very rigid on that kind of stuff as far as what you end up paying for your policy. Believe me, it can make a tremendous difference. If you take, inexperienced drivers, your insurance goes up astronomically. So, which is understandable. So you need 2 years minimum driving experience. You have to be sharp. You have to be professional. You don't have to have, I don't think, an immaculate, squeaky clean, perfect record. As far as I know, I'm not sure on that. That would be something to discuss with recruiters. But if you had one little incident a year ago, excuse me, I'm not used to talking.
A few minutes later.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to stop the cameras there for a minute and drink some water, man. My throat is just revolting against me because I'm not used to talking for a long period. But anyway, just as far as anybody who might be interested in coming, that was what I was talking about. The 2 years minimum, a decent driving record, and the other thing is that if you're not prepared to run, because they work basically 5 on, 2 off, there are a couple of drivers that kind of live out of their truck, and they'll do a 34 and then just keep running, kind of a thing. So that does exist. There are some that do that, but the majority of the drivers in the company's kind of structured to do Monday through Friday with Saturday, Sunday off. Is kind of how their loads are structured. So with 5 on, 2 off, that said, you need to be prepared to run. So you're working those 5 days, you're going to work your whole clock. And the good thing is, though, that usually it's not your 14-hour clock. It does happen from time to time. I've had it happen where just by, whatever, for whatever reason, I had a live load, a live offload, and then like another live load in a day where, that eats up time, right? So in those cases, I have run my full 14 for that day or close to it. And that ends up being a very, very long day, obviously. But the majority of the time, you're coming up against your 11-hour clock before your 14. So essentially you're doing 11-hour days and 10, 11-hour breaks, something like that. I usually don't like to take more than a 10, sometimes an 11. A lot of that really depends on the time that I would be starting in the morning. Sometimes if it's just way too early to start, because it doesn't match, the times on the loads, I'll take a little bit longer of a break. If I had a good solid day the day before where I, did the full 11. So, there's some leeway there. It all depends on the rhythm of the week. But main point is, from what I have heard from I have a couple of friends that do recruiting, and one of the things that I remember them both saying actually is that, they'll encounter drivers that like to talk about how many miles they run, and they're all, they'll push them as a recruiter for, well, how many miles am I going to get? Can you run me 3,000 miles a week? Because that's what I'm looking for, and all that stuff. And these very same people, once they get hired, are the ones that take 12, 13-hour breaks at night and stop for long lunches and stuff, and then they end up running 2,000 miles at the end of the week, and it's all their doing. It's not because of dispatch. So with this company, that does not fly. So if you come, make sure you understand that that's what the expectation is. And if you would expect to walk into this place and just do a few miles here and a few miles there and expect to keep a job, ain't happening. They will get rid of you. It's an understood point, and they're not assholes. It's just, this is what they want. They want drivers that will run, and I don't fault them for that. And that's one of the things that goes along with wanting 2 years minimum experience, right? By that time, if you've been driving for 2 years and you've done over the road, I would hope that at that point you would understand that that's your job, right? You need to run. The truck needs to move. So as long as you're good with that and you want to run, they will run you. They have the miles. They have the business. I have seen absolutely no slowdown whatsoever. And we run Midwest. So most of the time I'm Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio. That's the majority of stuff. Oh, Michigan as well, I'm sorry. And then that's the majority of where we're running. But I've also seen Missouri and Kansas, and a little bit of Tennessee. No, not Tennessee. Kentucky. I'm sorry. A little bit of Kentucky. So it really is Midwest focused, and I think the company is great. I'm very, very happy here, and I am pretty thrilled that I found the place. So everything has been great so far, and hopefully it'll keep going that way. So that's my 3 months and change review of MNS1 Express. If you are interested in the company and you meet the qualifications, if you want to get through to somebody to find out some more information, I will leave my recruiter's contact information in the description for the video, and go ahead and give her a call. And she's a wonderful, wonderful human being. So please be nice to her. She's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And so don't call her and be a jerk. Don't be a grumpy asshole to her. She doesn't deserve that. But give her a ring. Her name is Diana, and I'll leave her information in the description. So, and so with that, we are proceeding our way up to Eau Claire and Menards World Headquarters.